A stroke can be one of the most devastating health events you could face. However, many of the risk factors, like obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure, are manageable. With a few simple lifestyle changes, you can reduce your risk, and one of the best places to start is with your diet. In today's video, we'll be counting down the 7 worst breakfasts that skyrocket stroke risk. By cutting back on the foods we'll mention, you can take a big step toward protecting your health. Stick around to find out which breakfast staples may be raising your risk for stroke, including a surprising drink that could be doing more harm than good. Let's get started. Kicking off our list at number 7 is eating nothing or skipping breakfast entirely. It turns out not having any breakfast can be just as detrimental for your health as the other foods we will discuss on this list. Skipping breakfast entirely may seem like an easy way to cut calories, but it could actually increase your risk of stroke. A meta-analysis published in 2019 that looked at skipping breakfast and the risk of cardiovascular disease and death found that people who regularly skipped breakfast had a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular disease, including stroke, compared to those who ate breakfast every day. Specifically, the study showed that breakfast skippers had about a 21% higher risk of cardiovascular disease or cardiovascular-related death compared to regular breakfast eaters. When you skip breakfast, your body goes into a fasted state and starts breaking down stored nutrients for energy. This can lead to unstable blood sugar levels and increased inflammation, both of which are risk factors for stroke. Skipping breakfast can also make you more likely to overeat later in the day. When you're overly hungry, it's harder to make healthy food choices. You may end up reaching for sugary snacks or large portions to satisfy your hunger quickly. Over time, this pattern of overeating can lead to weight gain and obesity, further increasing stroke risk. Now let's move on to the next item on the list. At number 6, fast food breakfasts. So how about if you actually do eat breakfast, but in order to save on time, you grab some fast food instead of going for a healthy and well-balanced option? It turns out this is still a big no-no. We know they're convenient, but those breakfast sandwiches and burritos are often loaded with calories, unhealthy fats, and refined carbs. Plus, the portions are usually way bigger than what you need in the morning. It may come as no surprise to you, but eating fast food frequently has been linked to some serious health issues. A study published in The Lancet in 2005 found that participants who consumed fast food 2 or more times per week gained approximately 10 more pounds over a 15-year period and experienced a 2-fold increase in insulin resistance compared to those consuming fast food less than once per week. This is worrying because insulin resistance is a major risk factor for type 2 diabetes, which in turn increases the risk of heart disease and stroke. Don't get us wrong, the occasional fast food breakfast won't derail your health, but try not to make it a daily habit. Now, on to our next breakfast item on the countdown. Number 5, processed meats. We can hear the groaning of the bacon, ham, and breakfast sausage lovers among you. We understand. Those are tasty breakfast staples, but eating them regularly could be putting your health in jeopardy. Processed meats like bacon, ham, and hot dogs are loaded with sodium, saturated fat, and preservatives. A meta-analysis published in 2017 in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that processed meat consumption was associated with an increased risk of stroke. The study suggested that a 17% higher risk of stroke is associated with processed meat consumption. So what exactly makes processed meat so bad for you, and even more, what makes it a breakfast item that can predispose you to having a stroke? Well, it boils down to the high sodium content in processed meats, which can raise blood pressure, which is a major risk factor for stroke. The saturated fat can also contribute to clogged arteries and heart disease. Plus, there are the preservatives and additives. They can trigger inflammation in the body, further damaging blood vessels. Okay, this next item on our list may surprise you, especially because it is often marketed as a healthy choice. Number 4, fruit juices. Whole fruit in itself is a good thing. It has loads of fiber and vitamins and minerals that all contribute to your overall well-being, but it becomes problematic when it's in the form of fruit juices, especially those made from concentrate and those that have loads of added sugars. And added sugars are not your friend, especially if you are trying to keep your weight and diabetes in control. If you choose to have fruit juice in the morning, go for freshly squeezed orange juice or choose those labeled 100% real juice. But as much as you can, minimize your intake of these. Even those labeled as 100% fruit juice are still high in natural sugars and lacks the fiber found in whole fruits. In fact, a prospective study published in 2022 found that consumption of both 100% fruit juice and total fruit juice was associated with a higher risk of overall mortality. So, what can you do? Enjoying a small glass of 100% fruit juice occasionally is unlikely to majorly impact your stroke risk, but it's best to prioritize whole fruits over juice most of the time. Aim to fill half your plate with fruits and veggies at each meal for the biggest health benefits. Are you finding this helpful? If so, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Your support will help us continue to create informative health content. Now let's continue our countdown. At number 3, breakfast pastries. We know those danishes and muffins can be tempting in the morning, but they're often loaded with refined grains, added sugars, and unhealthy fats. Multiple studies have found associations between refined grain consumption and increased cardiovascular disease risk, including stroke. For example, a 2020 review published in the journal Nutrients found that regularly consuming refined grains, like those in many breakfast pastries, was associated with a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. The researchers suggested this may be due to the rapid spike in blood sugar and insulin that occurs after eating these highly processed carbs. Now, we're not saying you have to swear off pastries entirely, nor are we demonizing them and saying you should feel guilty for eating them. Enjoying them as an occasional treat is unlikely to majorly impact your health. But for your everyday breakfast, try reaching for options with more whole grains, fiber, and protein to keep your blood sugar stable and your stroke risk in check. We're on to the top 2 breakfasts that will put you at greater risk for stroke, and the next item is something that many of you may consider as a comfort food, and it's number 2, pancakes and waffles. Pancakes and waffles are often made with refined flour, which means the fiber and nutrients have been stripped away. They're also usually topped with butter and sugary syrups, adding a lot of unhealthy fats and empty calories to your meal. Again, like with the breakfast pastries, we are not saying you have to give up pancakes and waffles entirely. Enjoying them as an occasional treat is totally fine. But for your everyday breakfasts, try reaching for options with more whole grains, fiber, and protein to keep your blood sugar stable and your stroke risk in check. Some tasty swaps include whole grain toast with nut butter or avocado, oatmeal with berries and seeds, or a veggie and egg scramble. Making small changes to your morning routine can really add up for your heart and brain health over time. Next up is another clear breakfast favorite, but it can totally skyrocket your risk for stroke. It's number 1, sugary breakfast cereals. Many popular breakfast cereals are loaded with added sugars and refined carbohydrates, while being low in fiber and protein. A 2021 study found that the average sugar content of nearly 300 cereals was a whopping 19.9 grams per 100 grams. That's like eating 5 teaspoons of sugar in one bowl. All those simple carbs and sugars cause rapid spikes in blood sugar, which can lead to rebound hunger and overeating later in the day. Over time, this pattern can contribute to weight gain, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease, all major risk factors for stroke. Like with everything else on this list, we're not saying you have to give up cereal entirely. Instead, try to look for options with less than 5 grams of added sugar per serving and at least 3 grams of fiber. Topping your bowl with some fresh fruit, nuts, or seeds can also help balance out the nutrition. But for the most part, try to prioritize whole food breakfasts that provide a mix of fiber-rich carbs, healthy fats, and lean proteins. And there you have it, 7 worst breakfasts that skyrocket stroke risk. We hope you found this video eye-opening and informative. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel for more insights on health and wellness. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content and raising awareness about important health topics. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you been eating any of these risky breakfasts, or do you have healthier alternatives you swear by? Let us know in the comments below. Your suggestions are highly valued and can be a great source of inspiration for our community. Remember, making mindful choices about your breakfast can have a lasting impact on your overall health. Start your day with nutrient-dense foods that support heart health and lower your risk of stroke. And if you'd like to show your appreciation, please consider sending us a super thanks. Every bit of support helps us continue bringing you valuable content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.